I am hoping beyond hope that when I take Ruger to the vet tomorrow, he doesn't need to take care of Fate anymore, because I will eliminate one of the pills he has to take every day. Which means I can move his other pill up an hour, which means I can actually sleep at a normal amount of time. Hi, there you are. For a normal amount of time.
Got something for me?
I do. I found another coronet in ruins.
I don't care where you found it, as long as it gets us into the temple.
Temper. She spits onto the stone tiles and leans close, giving you an appraising eye.
Just so you know, we're not paying double for both, alright?
How about we negotiate that? I found the old temple in a flooded spot where the falls meet.
Good work. I'll make sure no one else disturbs it.
She claps you on the shoulder.
Meantime, Dario will be pleased to hear the news. How about you go tell him and collect your reward?
What does he want with a mosaic of Ukaizo? Her smile freezes on her face.
Dario's the only one to talk about Dario's business. If I was you, I'd forget about this and take my pay. But it's your neck.
She shrugs. It is my neck. I'm quite proud of it. I've put a lot of work into it.
Sending his ships up Woodakazashi Hole on an old bit of bait. Who are we to be stopping him?
Alright. Let's run over here. A lot of RPGs that I play at the least tend to really rub into the whole elves are formerly great mace, now reduced to something minor. Yeah, they definitely seem a little bit different than the standard stereotype of an elf that you normally see in games. Which is good. Elves usually seem the same in most games. Dwarves, too. It's one thing where this game really shines. There's a lot of originality to it. Yeah, exactly. Go to Dario's hideout. They're not all living in the woods. They're not all living in trees. Half-elves don't exist as humans can't have children with elves. I must have missed that. That's interesting.
What do you require?
Dario leans towards you, his leg braces squeaking. So about the Coronet of Waves.
A most agreeable topic. Or so I hope.
He draws his hands together and regards you over long tinted fingers. You do that a lot, Dario. I found a mosaic in a temple of Andra deep in the old city.
Galarde! You watchers truly are workers of miracles.
He claps and a figure waiting by the door scurries into the narrows. What's your interest in Kaizo. He smiles, but he fidgets madly with the gold at the hem of his tunic. Aloth mentions that as his mother was essentially a lover of some high-ranking noble king, don't remember the exact details, which is seen as completely fine as she was an elf and therefore couldn't have a child. Yeah, I actually remember that part. Come to think of it. And that's a little interesting thing they got going on too, like that alone, that whole system that she has with that guy.
The mosaic is an ancient work of art. Such marvels must be preserved.
His fingers continue working at his hem. There's more to it, isn't there?
Let us discuss your payment instead. A suitable enough topic, no?
He clears his throat and produces a blunderbuss. After a brief pause, he rolls around and holds it out to you.
Never let it be said that Dario does not pay a fair price.
You've gained an item, kitchen stove. The item was put into your stash. Indeed, I would hate for anyone to say that. He gives you a respectful, estranged smile and nods to one of his attendants who produces a bag of coin.
Now, allow us to put the question of money to rest. It is an unseemly topic to linger on.
Money is never an unseemly topic to linger on.
What do you require? A moment, I almost forgot.
He takes the needlework from the table and unfurls it. It's larger than it initially looked.
Blanca. Take it and indulge my vanity.
He hands you a lovingly crafted flag. You've gained an item, Principe colors.
It is not as grand as the sails I once made, but my fingers are ever restless.
Let's check out this gun that he gave me, which might be a thing from Maya, perhaps. Actually, Seraphim can use it too. Kitchen stove. Let's see. Blunted criticals minus 15 crit damage. Multi-shot, veil piercing, exceptional. Hurried, minus 15 reload time. Grants wild shot. Minus 15 reload time, range attacks bounce one time for 15 seconds. This is how you get the Principe flag for Fort Deadlight infiltration without killing anyone, which is insane because it takes so much work, and at that level is the old city really dangerous. Yeah. At least it gives you other options, so there is that. Let's give you... Switch that over there, that. Hey, we got 2 special blunderbusses for the moment.
Yeah, I trust you.
Dual weird blunderbusses. That was one hell of a shotgun blast. Should help him gain focus real quick, too. Alright, leave. We need to, oh shit, wrong way. Let's go to, the gullet. I think I did that thing where I infiltrated and I discovered that deal that the prince wanted me to see. He wanted me to go infiltrate and find out what was going on with the smuggling. So let's go see the prince. Knock that out. Because then once I do that, I'm thinking I can talk him into giving food to everybody. Did I turn into medicine? Yes, I did turn into medicine. It was, I think, the first thing I did last stream I did. There's some coins by the bar. Oh, yeah. Is it in the gullet, that bar? And a gullet, okay. Let's go get that real quick. Because I remember they said it was by a bar, but I didn't know which one they were talking about. Just outside. Mo money. Run.
Keep your...
Whoa. Okay, that must be it.
Whether I open.
$600. I'll take it. Not a ton of money, but it's 600 coins I did not have before. Trying to figure out the value. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that some of the coins are like worth more than other coins. Let's go to Serpent's Crown and go to the palace. The palace. It's the baseline currency. Yeah, that's true. Like, I keep calling it gold because I'm so used to calling money gold in games. I keep forgetting it's copper. Oh, I got you. Lord, I don't know. That involves math. And numbers. And there's one thing I am terrible at, is math and numbers.
Akira, but have you pried any secrets from the gullet yet?
The Principe are smuggling cargo via the Undercroft.
Undercroft, a darker, more fetid layer of Nekataka, I say.
He cradles his chin in his palm, looking off into the distance.
Onikaza and I are the mind and heart of the city, but the bowels, these we cannot reach.
By comparison to value of objects and such, yeah, I get what you're saying.
At least Delver's Row is a stable target. The Crown has time to decide the next steps.
What do you plan on doing about Delver's Row?
I learned in the arena never to underestimate an advantage. For now, it is enough that I know where they bring in goods.
Water Shapers are helping the pirates bring in ships.
I had my suspicions, but I had no wish to see them confirmed.
Aruhi winces and looks away.
When it comes to the dignity of the guild, the Crown can compromise nothing. Onikaza will see their leadership disciplined, I say.
Say nothing.
Onikaza and I both expect more from the guild, I say. She will not be pleased.
Aruhi shakes his head and sighs.
Akira, but at least you returned to me in one piece. You are not the first agent I sent to the gullet, but you are the first to return.
Always hire the best.
I cannot say that I desire to send you to worse places than the gullet, but...
Aruhi trails off and scratches the back of his head, but you desire to send me to places worse than the gullet. Go on.
Does the name Ukaizo mean anything to you?
The prince's face is impassive, but he seems to be studying yours with close attention to detail. An old mosaic beneath the city depicted Ukaizo.
Akira, then the city's bowel hides more than I credit.
Aruhi thumbs his chin and nods.
Ukaizo was the home of the Huana before cataclysm and destruction wiped the island from the Deadfire. That is the story. Story or no, I make no secret that we search for Ukaizo.
He studies you, allowing his words to sink in.
Aye, along with every other bare-masked, bilge-brained treasure hunter twixt here and Old Valia.
I've known sand crabs with a firmer grasp of a daring, I say.
Ruhi furrows his brow, Seraphin.
Our tribes are spread across many isles, but it is Ukaizo which binds us. Ukaizo, and the knowledge that we must return. To that end, a local cartographer secured a lead. A breadcrumb to a breadcrumb, I say. I sent an expedition to Matario Cozy, one of the Sanctuary Isles. They were to retrieve evidence of our lost homeland. They have yet to return.
Sanctuary Isles.
They were sites where our ancestors grouped in terms of crisis. Constants in changing seas. You have the cartographer Atepo to thank. He wanders the Western Shrine if you would know more.
Prince makes a dismissive wave towards the door. What makes you think that Matario Kaizo contains evidence of Ukaizo?
The Sanctuary Isles give comfort and guidance to sailors on the long journey home. I am hoping the island can remember its purpose and return us to the home we lost.
How has the island remained hidden all this time?
A question for those with years to gather reeds and scribe their thoughts.
Ruhi smooths back his hair and sighs.
It might be that someone or something on the island does not wish to be found. In better times than these, I would have been happy to oblige.
Should I expect any resistance?
The trading companies would not have thought to look for Matario Cozy, but now they are vultures to carrion. I do not doubt that our rivals race for the same thing, all while we fall behind.
Ruhi sighs. No further questions.
Then you are ready to depart?
I trust you'll relay my helpfulness to the Queen.
Naturally, I say. My sister remembers her friends. I remember her enemies.
Ruhi winks.
Before you go,
Ruhi lowers his tone and glances to his left and right.
That did seem like too nice a way to end it.
the expedition, I have reason to believe they will not be returning to Nakataka.
Go on.
We found this at the palace doorstep, cut from the robe of the expedition leader.
He reaches into his pocket and draws forth a wad of red-stained bark cloth. Maybe he just tripped down the doorstep when he was leaving and he, had a really big scratch.
One mystery heaped on another, I say.
He drags his thumb over the cloth and frowns to himself. Who could have sent this?
If you learn in your travels, I hope you will tell me. The crown has grown too accustomed to warnings, I say.
He thumbs the fabric and frowns. Let me see that. I might be able to learn something from it. Nodding, he relinquishes the scrap. A fragment of Estus clings to the scrap like a thread woven too tightly to be unraveled. Trees tower above you and ropey vines stretch like tentacles across a marshy ruin. It takes all of your strength to trudge through the hip-deep water. You glance over your shoulder, but the women and men of your company aren't there. Then a shape moves off in the distance. You draw your weapon, feeling now more alone than ever. The vision departs, leaving you with a deep pit in your stomach and a phantom sensation that nothing has gone as it should have. The prince regards you expectantly. Nature is restless on this island, but I can guess nothing more.
I suspected this, as you say. Take care if you alight on Matario Cozy. My fear is that the island is sanctuary no more.
Sighing, Prince Ruhi folds the cloth with reverence.
Prepare yourself for a hard voyage northeast of Nakataka. Matario Cozy is nestled in the Kua Rokuhu Islands, in the midst of a landmass that resembles a storm, like the fall of Ukaizo locked in time.
Ruhi bites his thumbnail and turns away, lost in thought.
Watcher, even if Ukaizo is a myth, Motario Cozy is old enough that it may contain some clue about why Aothis is interested in the Deadfire.
Something I absolutely love about PoE 2 is that they really push the gray nature of the world, how every group, the Valiant Trading Company, the Royal Deadfire Company, the Huana, etc., have their positive aspects and their negative aspects, bringing benefit and issues. That's true too, and it gives you different reasons, should I align with these people? Shouldn't I align with these people? Who's going to betray me? Who isn't going to betray me? Lots of different forces at play. I just want to state once again that I absolutely love the setting to this. It's not the typical, I don't know, medieval, just like plains and mountains and all that stuff. Like, I love the island setting to this. Oh, shit, I missed that. Hey, Cap, something or other. Oh, it's time to level up. Alright, dear, what am I doing with you? Guardian stance, already have that. Mob stance. Fighter changes to a more aggressive stance after handling groups of enemies. While in this stance, fighter kills with a melee weapon will trigger an instant full attack on a nearby enemy. Adopts a strategy for standing toe-to-toe with a single combatant, increase accuracy and deflection. When hurt or above, the fighter's accuracy bonus increases. When bloodied or below, the deflection bonus increases. Fighter draws strength from their own indomitable spirit, causing them to regenerate a portion of the health lost from each attack. That sounds really nice. +4 deflection. I'm gonna go with this. Next. Alright, that's a deer. Liquid. Survival athletics. Barbaric Smash requires Barbaric Blow, mutually exclusive with Crushing Blow. Leap. Uncanny Luck gains a small chance to completely avoid any attack and convert some hits to criticals. That might not be horrible for him. Increases the base maximum health that you gain with each level, +2 maximum health. +5% resistance, 5% of hits converted to critical hits. Let's go with that. Seraphim. Bluff mechanics. Borrowed Instinct. Ransacks an enemy's intellect and perception for energy, causing damage to those enemies' attributes. Allied AoE Resolute. Concentration. Immunity to concentration attacks. Allied target plus self-aware for 30 seconds. Tactical Meld looks good. Keen Mind. Cypher begins combat with additional focus. Actually, that looks good. Uncanny Luck and Tough. I like the idea of rapid casting too, though. Let's give you Keen Mind. I may go back for the other one. Sodi. Alchemy, Religion. +5 intellect, +1 all power levels. Prevents a severely injured character's health from reaching 0 for a brief moment. Grants a divine favor to an ally imbuing with the resolute and tenacious inspirations as well as bonus engagement. I think I was going to get Champion's Boon for a deer. She can cast that on him, that'll be helpful. Alright. Let me see what I got here. Actually, we need to go see the princess. Because I'm hoping he talked to her And now she'll help with the food situation. Maybe.
What say, burglar? Thanks to you, I must negotiate with Arkanir for more security.
We should speak about the Gullus food shortage.
Does the gullet lack? The seasons play havoc on our crops, I say.
She frowns, waving you on. Between the rotten food piles and scarcity, the gullet barely supports life.
If I wanted an emotional opinion, I would go to Pariki's Overlook. Speak to my brother Aruihi. He handles local concerns while I lose sleep over the archipelago.
She beckons towards the exit.
Now, with that out of the way, is there nothing else?
I don't like you very much, lady. Need to talk to the prince regarding the food thing. Alright. Alright, I need another favor.
Do not leave me in suspense, I say. Have you found Matario Cozy?
I had other questions.
If you have questions, the royal brother will hear you.
Here we go. We should talk about the food shortage in the gullet.
Shortage? Are the Raparu not fed the leavings of the Kwaru and Mataru?
Gullet is in a poor state. There's little enough to go around. Sighing, Prince Aruhi presses his palms together and nods.
It is no wonder how Delver's Row won the love of my people, I say, by feeding them when we could not. Find us solutions instead of old problems, I say.
Dawnstars have agreed to offer a share of their crops to Nekataka as long as the bulk of it goes to the Raparu.
My sister would call this a test from the gods. It is our role to feed the Raparu, and we do not pass on our duties to outsiders.
Aruhi thumbs his chin, nodding.
But I am of a different mind. Nothing pleases Ngati like an unlikely solution, and this is what you bring. Akira, then let it be so.
He nods, a smile parting his lips.
If you have more to say, I am not above listening.
And that's that. We gotta go see Inoue. I knew I could get something to work with them. Never been a fan of Unikaza. Yes, she is ruler of a lot of people and can't focus on something smaller than that, but she is unlikable. She's very arrogant. She comes off very, very arrogant. Like, aren't you special? You're hanging out on a rooftop with your two tigers. Because you have all this wealth, power. Alright, we need to go back to the gullet. No, he's home. Except... Hello. The old man grimaces some attempt at a smile. He inclines his head to you, indicating he's aware of your presence. The Dawnstars will share their crops, and the Queen will allocate the majority for the gullet. The old man's eyes glisten.
I heard of missionaries distributing food throughout the gullet, though I did not think it could be true. Not in this lifetime could I have hoped for more. To have garnered our queen's generosity, I ache to believe it. Never can I thank you enough, Watcher who has the ear of both kith and gods. Always the Raparu will know of your kindness. Should you need refuge within Nekadaka, know that the Raparu will stand by your side.
Take care, old man.
May Amira's winds ever fill your sails, boy. We will not forget what you have done for us.
I am ready.
To level up. Arcana. Intimidate. Abjuration. Through force-willed, Paladin can destroy any spirit or summon creature below the Paladin's level. Spirits and summon creatures equal to or greater than level take raw damage. Commands an ally to redouble their efforts, improving their deflection and granting them the fit inspiration. Tough. Uncanny luck. Let's go with reinforcing exhortation. Abjuration is useful. Because maybe I'll take that one, because that's... None of these are any of the abilities that I was planning on taking for the build I had for her in mind, but I'll grab out.
Of course.
Alright, save it. Let's see what we got going on here now. Tasks. We got the bounties that are all somewhere else. Sealed Fate. Found Dignos outside of the Luminous Bathhouse, lamenting on loss of his satchel. We did that. We need to go to the Peddler's Canal in Queen's Birth. Alright, let's go take care of that. So useful because it instantly kills some enemies at some point. Instantly kill a bounty target one shot. Okay, that does sound like a good grab then.
Of course.
Yeah, I was looking at it for a second and I figured, but if it's gonna do that, then hell yeah. Alright, Queen's Birth. Alright, supposed to be by the canal. So over here. Save in case I run into a fight here. There you are.
Ekosi Fentre, you have found the satchel?
You have some splaining to do. Can also instantly kill blights, so it works on blights. That sells it even more to me because I can't stand certain blights, since they're immune to some damage.
It is not as you must think. Comte Blanca, hear me out.
His gaze slides off your face as if he is not able to meet your eyes. A light sweat dampens his brow and he worries the hem of his tunic. A lot of people worry the hem of their tunic. What would Avetta make of your tread? Now wait. Your scheme is ended. Talford is dead. He pales, glancing left and right with alarm.
If you will not support me, I understand. Your contempt is justified.
He hangs his head and his shoulders sag, listless as a ship in irons.
But I beg you, please do not tell Avetta.
I won't report you to Avetta if you agree to end your scheming.
Nehala, yes, I will do as you ask, so long as you do not tell Avetta.
He claps his hands together and nods vigorously. Pelagina holds up her hand, rubbing the tip of her middle finger against her thumb and nodding.
My word is my bond.
Taps his chest. I did something that Pelagina's happy with. Gotta say it was a good day. Alright, save it. What else we got going on here? Sealed Fate's done. Bounties, we'll wait on for a moment. Aspoko Kohara, that's in another place. Survey of the Uncharted Islands of the Deadfire, north and south of Port Maji, we did that. Man and Chimes. Dunnage, we gotta go there yet. Lighted Path, look for Alafa and Hasongo. Head to Sayuka and search for any sign of Romaro or know where he's gone. Okay, we gotta talk to Aloth at some point. Nothing under quests. You will really stand for potential betrayal. He's not betraying me. That's the important thing. The fact that I killed the guy he was scheming with, I think will probably put the fear of God into him. The gods, as it were. See the button just under the search bar in the quest menu. Class this. You can switch that to location. Ooh, that's helpful. Wants to see me at Fort Deadlight. Okay, we're gonna be going there. I didn't want to help her, so I'm not gonna do the mill thing. Or wait, or do I want to do that? Maybe I should just go see her first before I do anything else. Symbols of Death. Alright, he wants me to go to Dunnage, that's that thing. Flan will send a message when her team is ready to try again should I wish to participate. For now, however, she suggests that I head back to the Valiant Trading Company headquarters for more work. Maybe I should go check out the Valiant Trading Company real quick. It's in this area. It's actually right in front of me. It's a sign. Young Juana wears a disconcerted frown. He meets your approach with a flicker of a welcoming smile, but it dies down quickly.
Please, I must ask a favor.
Do I know you? He shies back from making eye contact, keeping his head lowered.
What say? Do you have business with the Valiant Trading Company?
What seems to be the problem?
My people are the Dwape. We signed a contract with the company.
Tuenu looks towards the headquarters with a despondent frown.
We were not understanding the terms at the time. I wish to, what say, renegotiate. But the clerks turned me away.
Tell me more about this contract.
My father, the Ranga, took payment from the company. In exchange, they dig for Audra.
He speaks with more confidence as if these words were rehearsed several times over.
He did not understand the Valian way. When he dies, the Outlanders will claim our island for themselves. Daughter of Amira, You are knowing of these things?
He glances toward Pelagina, blinking with wonder.
I am not a daughter of Amira, and yes, I know of them. I cannot know the details of the contract without seeing it myself, but it sounds quite ordinary for the company.
Pelagina won't like this at all. If you want to do this quest, you need to switch her out of the party. Okay.
Father has fallen ill, and the clerk, Luca, stands by the agreement as surely as if it was stamped in his skin.
Guessing company didn't like someone challenging their unfair deal.
Akira. When the Valiant clerk learned I was from the Duape, he became very anxious. I made my appeals to Luca, but my words were as stones dropped down the deepest well. While I am barred from the company office, I can do nothing for my people.
Why'd they kick you out of their office?
I showed Luca a new contract, yes? Fairer, more agreeable terms. Luca called me a criminal and summoned his guards.
It's one who lets his arms hang down by his sides. What you mean by a new contract?
A man in the gullet offered to assist me. He carried papers, ink, and wax. He helped to write a new contract in the Valian way and to fix the correct seals. Luca, I say he did not like this. He took my contract and forced me into the streets.
I'm pretty sure you were given a forgery.
I do not know this word. I would fix, but Luca will not give me the chance. Negotiating with outsiders has not gone my way.
Twinny scratches the back of his head, frowning. I'll look into it, but I make no promises.
Akira, my thanks. I will remain here by day until justice is done.
The worst of his concerns are quickly overshadowed by a broad smile. Alright, let's go grab... Skip Maya for a bit. Pelagina has enough things that she's complaining about lately, rather than add this to the list. What with Sodi being around?
Now, what can I do for you? See anything you like?
Alright, Pelagina. Have a break.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
You need leveled, probably. Yep. Stealth and diplomacy. Calls the ranger's animal companion to her side, granting the companion a nimble inspiration, causing him to move back to the ranger incredibly quickly. Vengeful Revival can revive their animal companion and restore a small amount of health. Animal companion deals additional damage for a short time after being revived. Evasive Fire quickly dives to a safe distance and gains the quick inspiration. Ability does not cause recovery. Ranger immediately attacks a random enemy in a range. Tough. Uncanny Luck. Driving Flight. Each range attack used by the Ranger contains such force to fly straight through the first target and hit another target behind it for less damage. Well, we'll go with that. Let's go with... I don't see a reason why I would call my companion. Unless she was in trouble. What's evasive roll? Dies to a safe distance and gains a quick inspiration. Let's go with that. You do not need another level, okay. What are you equipped with, by the way? Alright, you've got the red hand, so you're good.
What do you need? Sure.
Alright, back to the Valiant Trading Company. I've got some negotiating.
Where I'm from, sometimes the simple life comes knocking on your door with nooses and pitchforks.
To do.
It's still going on, is it? When will those arrogant louts decide that enough is enough?
I don't know, when will they? Gardnod's polite greetings.
Welcome back. Governor Alvari will see you.
Well, that's very kind of him.
Welcome back. Is there something else you wish to discuss?
I have some questions for you.
Please, go ahead.
What is it you do here?
Ha! What don't I do?
I don't think I talked to her before. She gestures to the papers upon her
I
desk.
tend to the day-to-day business of the Valiant Trading Company. Our negotiations, contracts, and so on. The director takes a broader view of the business. You might call him our navigator. He directs the company's ambitions in the Deadfire.
Could you tell me a little bit about the Valiant Trading Company?
Well, the Valiant Trading Company has been here in Nekataka for many decades now. Its main interest is in the mining of luminous Adra, for which we have negotiated with numerous tribes for access to the Adra sites and, where possible, labor. The company also engages in more mundane lines of trade, of course. Ultimately, we are merchants.
What are your thoughts on animancy?
It is simple science. I was never of a scholarly disposition, but I recognize that animancy can be nearly as useful as a good caster. As with most fields of study, its merit depends on the mind pursuing it.
I have no more questions.
Very well. Anything else?
Are you in charge here? Because I just remembered I actually have more questions.
An interesting question.
Governor Avari's mouth twists in a rueful smile.
Director Castor concerns himself with the business of the Valiant Trading Company as a whole. He must coordinate our operations across the entire region. I am afraid you must deal with me for the time being. You seek work, information. These are things I can help you with.
She folds her hands farewell. Alright, upstairs for the director. How everybody's just cool with the fact that I'm walking around with a bird, flying through everybody's offices and buildings. I hope he knows to do his business outside. Apologies, but the director is not in. You will have to return another time. Alright, I guess I need to wait. Unless he's over here. You're not the director, are you?
Ado, Watcher. Governor Clario had many kind things to say about you. I have you here in the ledger. A net profit. What can I do for you today, Watcher? I can
you're not the
spare a few
director.
moments.
Alright, so I'm guessing I need to wait. Save it. What time you show up? Morning? Pre-dawn? Let's try morning. Director is not in. So is he somewhere else on his floor then? I need the quest more. You mean I need to do more quests, or I need to do some more quests for Valiant before he pops up? Okay. That's cool, we can wait on that then. Lord knows I got enough stuff to do at the moment. I think that's actually it for stuff to do in the city at the moment. I can't think of anything else, and there's nothing else I believe listed in my journal. Everything else involves going somewhere else. So... talk a deal with Luca. The contract. Okay, wait a minute. Luca.
This room stifles already. Must you crowd it further?
Okay, here we go. I spoke with Tawenu outside. You have a claim on his tribe's island? Tribe's
A
land.
lawful claim, I might add. No matter what the native says to the contrary. He showed up with a forged contract, as if I wouldn't know the difference between our paperwork and theirs.
He gestures dismissively out the door.
Tawenu is lucky. I only seized the
Excuse me.
forgery. The Galad is too good for his kind.
There must be some agreeable way to sort out Tawenu's problem.
Your villager friend would do well not to stand between the company and our prize. The company is allowed to solve problems as we see fit. And right now, Tawenu is a problem.
Oh yeah, we are faced as a problem. Give me a second.
Besides, lying is second nature to the Ranga heir and his ignorant cliente.
Tawenu mentioned you were anxious about talking to him. Why?
The crown has been known to grimace at our client tribal privileges.
He steeples his fingers together and chooses his words with care.
We do not allow local trouble to stymie us, so that Rawatai can steal an advantage.
We're talking about the Duapi homeland. This isn't right.
This is the homeland they signed away for money, Ak.
Maya pinches the bridge of her nose.
I can almost guarantee the company will put it to more dignified use.
Keep negotiating like this and you'll drive the Huana into the arms of the Royal Deadfire Company.
This is... Ak, true enough.
Maya cocks her head and listens.
But breaking a contract for diplomacy's sake is simply not done.
Luca worries his brow. The company loses nothing by letting go of an island they never had.
I would be remiss to uphold one contract to the detriment of our operation. Go on then. Some of us have more important duties.
Ha ha. Alright, let's go see him.
Akira, you return. What say, friend?
Tawenu touches his brow in greeting. Luca listened to reason. The Duape will keep their island.
Akira, I cannot believe. A light after our long sorrow.
His smile broadens and Tawenu slaps her shoulder with encouragement. Maya sighs through her nose.
Valiant makes the work of conquering you people look easy.
Maya clucks her tongue and grins to herself.
Their words are poison, I say, as are yours. My village is modest, but I came prepared. I set aside a few gems for trading. They are yours by right.
No charge.
You are a friend of the Duape. We do not forget.
Tawenu smiles, rolling his shoulder with the ease of one who stands suddenly taller. Maya thumbs her chin, nodding.
Come closer, Watcher. We should speak.
Hey, who do you want?
And here I thought Tawenu would hold vigil on the company's stoop until the last shard of Audra was dredged up from the ruins of his village. Sometimes it pays to be wrong.
Someone had to step in and help.
Plenty of folk disagreed with you, it seems. I wonder, what makes you so different?
Maya smirks and folds her arms.
The Valian Trading Company is so fixated on incremental profits that by the time they make any real headway, Rawatai will own every island in all but name.
She shakes her head and sighs.
And the Hawana are so gullible that their loyalties will be spread across 500,000 contracts, and nothing but black powder will remind them who truly owns Deadfire. Stop by the Royal Deadfire District sometime. Rawatai needs men and women of action to represent our interests, and I can see a promising career for someone like you.
The heck's the Royal Deadfire District? Save. Sequence broke a bit. The brass citadel. You're meant to do this quest first, and then go to the Brass Citadel. Wait, which quest first? The one I just did? Contract quest I just did, yeah. So that woman had just told me to meet her. Is that here that I meet her then, since I did the contract quest? Because she didn't give me any, like, actual quests. What's this over here? I missed something. Rum and mead. Oh, wait. Apparently I missed a few things here. Oh, okay, that's stuff I don't have room for. Actually trying to remember if I did everything here the other day. I'm pretty sure I did. It's more meant to guide you to the Brass Citadel and talk to his people. Ah, okay. I thought she had like a specific quest in mind or something. I get what you're saying now. I was already at the Brass Citadel before, so that's how I sequence broke. Okay. Alright, we're gonna save it. I think I got everything done then. Can you think of anything else, Tenwin? I don't see anything in my journal, so... I'm thinking about hitting up Fort Deadlight, or whatever that place is, since we've already been there. See what that person wants. And then I might just head to Dunnage. And then if there's like quests there, I can get them to the list, and then I can just start sailing around doing a whole bunch of crap. So, God, I'm gonna have to remember how the ship works. Alright, leave by sea. Don't forget to sell your stash. Actually, wait a minute. You know what? Yeah, because I do actually have some stuff now. Because I picked up some stuff probably in the old city to get rid of.
If you need iron or steel.
Let's sell. What we got? We can have that. I'm gonna keep my exceptional stuff for now. Don't need the stilettos. Don't need daggers. Don't need hatchets. Don't need battle axe. We'll keep the exceptional dagger for the moment. Fine hunting bow, medium shields, wand, blunderbuss, couple swords, rod, exceptional great sword. I'll keep these grimoires for the moment. Sword. Sold. Sold, sold, sold. Keep all that stuff because it's special. You can have this cape, you can have this paddock cap. Alright. It's time to get on the boat, everybody. Do a little bit of sailing. Now I have to remember I'm actually looking for a storm to sail into, too. For that sword. I remember that much. As you ready your ship, a cloaked figure mounts the gangplank and roughly forces a burned book into your hands. They turn and depart without a word. Read. The blinding of this tome reeks of smoke. What few pages remain are crinkled and black. Based on the few chapter headers that survived the fire damage, this might have been a book of antiquated laws. Now it's nothing more than a charred relic of authority. Open it.
You crack the spine of the old book, revealing blackened pages of dense, illegible text. The words recede into the shadows the longer you focus on them. Suddenly, the page widens to eclipse the world around you. A dark void stretches out on all sides. The air full of choking fumes that carry dying embers and curling flakes of ash.
Well, that never happened on Reading Rainbow. Hello? Is anyone out there?
Something stirs in the darkness. An old woman steps forward, leering down at you from on high. Her smile is toothy and cruel. Her cheeks warp around it like melted candle wax.
I'm so glad that my messenger tracked you down. These days it's impossible to find good help.
Wodika.
Watcher?
Wodika.
Before you draw your weapon, know that these proceedings are under a banner of peace. If this was a trap, it would have already closed around you. While Bareth whispers in one ear and Aethys shouts in the other, I thought you could use a more seasoned perspective to drown out the noise.
Speaking of drowning out, you sound like you're talking to me from inside of a well or something. I'm intrigued. Let's talk.
Don't you find it unusual how open and accessible my siblings have made themselves? After millennia of subdued whispers, now they practically scream their intentions.
Got a point.
And isn't it strange how we never bicker unless a mortal is watching?
Is it? You tell me.
I would never deny that our pantheon is emotional, willful, and prone to overreaction. But we didn't get this far arguing over minutiae. If we still possessed our glorious titans, my siblings and I would have put an end to Aethys and his rampage by now. While we are powerless to stop him, some of my kin wish to observe how mortals respond to this threat. They think it will shine a light on the value of our patronage. Have we raised you well enough to be self-sufficient? Or must we return to Eora and impose some corrective measures?
And if we prove ourselves, what then?
What indeed? That would depend on which of us you ask. A cross-section of society has converged on the Deadfire. Some of my kin are of an opinion that we are meant to judge mortals on the basis of their performance, while the rest of us have already made up our minds on the matter.
Wait, so why do I get the feeling you're trying to convince me of something?
Judge for yourself. But I think you'll find my intentions are more straightforward than you think. When we ascended to godhood, we did so to provide for a savage people. Our goal was to craft a society whose values were made to last. Perhaps even a society that had no need of us. A naive fallacy, but one that inspired my optimistic, misguided kin. How you and your allies counter this threat will demonstrate whether you are competent enough to guide your own destinies, or if we need to revise our strategy. The soft-hearted among us are counting on you to win this existential wager. No doubt, Aethys shares their sympathies. I do not. We exist to rule over mortals. Nothing can change that.
Well, if we end up not needing you, you could always just cease to exist.
So now you know the truth. I assume you have questions.
Why did you choose to confide in me?
Whether knowingly or unintentionally, you seem to find yourself on the vanguard of change. Mortals like you come but once in a lifetime.
I'm a trendsetter.
Some would react poorly if I stripped mortals of their freedom without giving them a chance to plead their case. You have the honor of standing tall as their advocate.
It's ironic considering how short I am here.
Before I return to Eora and assume my position as your deserving tyrant, you have this opportunity to prove me wrong. To demonstrate whether or not mortals are responsible enough to claim their future.
You speak as if we don't have a chance.
You speak as if you do. Mortals have precious little time to decide for themselves. Will they stand together as one, or swallow their pride and bend the knee? I have every confidence that you would disappoint us. Once my position is upheld, the undecided among the gods will embrace my plan.
The gods think my actions can prove their point about mortal society.
Prove it or disprove it, yes. I never agreed to this arrangement, but if your example demonstrates mortal ineptitude, as I trust it will, then I can make the plan serve me. An assertive minority of gods believe that your choices will prove the value of their wild optimism. as if mortal collaboration and ingenuity are endorsements of our leadership. Then there are those of us who know better, who are not so easily convinced. Kith are vulnerable, unless they submit to the destiny we chart for them. Thinking otherwise can only breed dissent and chaos.
Tell me about this enlightened society you once wanted.
It was an ambitious plan, our utopia. Perhaps too ambitious. We ascended to power, responding to a need inadequately satisfied. Assuming these roles gave us the authority to mold Eora over time, to influence you and lay the groundwork for a society yet to come. On the outset of the plan, some believed that mortals would outgrow us, as if that was a favorable outcome. To me, our eternal pantheon was always a critical fixture. Aethys was one of those who supported mortals, while I have always been their most vocal critic.
How would you have even recognized that ideal society?
A valid, self-defeating question, and one which I posed often. We assumed that they, whoever they were, would reveal themselves to us. Rational government would rule in our stead, leaving churches vacant. Thanks to Aethys, we're pulling the dough from the oven before it's had a chance to fully rise. You unfortunate bastards never had the chance to prove me wrong.
Why do the other gods tolerate your opposition?
Opposition can take many forms. If a church embraces and weaponizes my doctrine, that is very different from me rampaging as a titan. Aethys is not known for subtlety. Twice now, he has contaminated the purity of our experiment, and done so with extravagant displays that undermine our authority.
You call what Theos did subtle?
His approach was sophisticated, indirect. I owe you no explanations on the matter. Besides, you are not worthy to speak his name.
Theos. Theos, 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 Theos.
I am the counterpoint to the soft-hearted. It makes no difference if mortals pass some arbitrary test. My mind is settled on the matter. Regardless of my feelings, the timing of this crisis forces us to accelerate our schedule. Final judgment comes sooner than any of us would prefer.
Doesn't his social engineering plan seem counterintuitive?
You mean gods crafting a godless world? Naturally. My siblings desired to influence mortals and steer them in a proper direction, even if that direction led to places we could not follow. I have no intention of being left behind. Society would unravel without its queen to impose strict order.
What happens if someone proves you wrong?
If our pantheon found that mortals had cultivated a perfect, lawful system to maturity, I would not voice a word in protest. I would merely stand aside and await the inevitable collapse. Mortals need us. I know this as well as I know myself. Even a lawful and responsible society would be poised to collapse as long as its architects and strongest adherents were mortal. Any satisfaction that my siblings derived from their little experiment would be short-lived, and it would fall to me to clean up after their mess.
The mess in this case being mortal freedom.
Freedom is an unachievable illusion, heralded by the soft of heart. Only those who can find satisfaction in captivity are truly free.
Huh. Such a bitch. Yeah, after that line, definitely.
Make no mistake, Watcher. In this, I cannot be proven wrong.
Oh yeah, well I'm gonna prove you wrong. Also, Theos. Back to my other questions.
You have learned much already. Only ask if you are ready for the truth.
I want to talk about the wheel and your rise to godhood.
The wheel is our shared responsibility, and each of us serves it in our own fashion. I am the axle upon which the gods balance their power. Aethys keeps the wheel in motion. He was our promise to mortals that time and labor would yield a deserving reward on the next turning of the cycle.
How did the Angwithans become gods?
At the height of our power, we recognized the potential of the soul. We knew that it could be bound, split apart, diverted like a river, and hammered together. Hammering was trivial. Those of us who agreed with the Apotheosis Project, and many who did not, submitted to a violent and horrible erasure of our individuality. After the dust settled, we adopted the forms of beings from Aeora's most prevalent myths. There were other faiths and legends, but we labored to strike their names from history.
How exactly does the wheel function? Would you say that it turns?
Much of reincarnation's mechanism exists in the idea space of the beyond. You wouldn't find a wall of cogs and levers unless we conjured one to illustrate a point. The wheel has but one material component in all of Aeora. Something we built to channel essence through luminous Adra and into the beyond with reliable continuity. Before we intervened, the flow of essence was directionless, unpredictable. We succeeded in widening the gap, diverting it, giving it an efficient path to follow.
Reincarnation existed before you, so why not just leave it alone?
Before we took control of the wheel, reincarnation was error-prone, lacking forward momentum. Hollowborn were fairly common, and hardly the worst of the soul maladies. Control gave us the power to strengthen the souls of intelligent kith over generations. We made you wiser, stronger, more likely to develop the society we thought you deserved. Every turning of the cycle demonstrated the righteousness of my belief. Nature begets chaos, and discipline begets perfection.
Back to my other questions.
Speak, Watcher. It isn't every day that I open myself to these communions, so spend your breath wisely.
And keep yours in your mouth, because has your opinion of mortals changed at all?
Nothing you've done has tarnished it utterly beyond repair. You may congratulate yourself on that much, at least.
We'll speak again.
Yes, I think we will. This is not the end of our discussion. You know how to find your way back to this place.
Wotica nods stiffly. You feel her presence drift as a breeze, rustling as it goes.
Drop a good spice from wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, drop a good spice from wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, drop a good spice from wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll roll.
Are we singing a sea shanty? I can now at any point open the burn book of law and talk to Wotica. Oh shit. Hi, what are you? Trading company. Okay, looks like I don't want to mess with you anyway. You got 3 skulls, and I don't have any reason to attack you. You're just a merchant. Alright. Who are you? Valiant Trading Company. Okay. We're gonna head back to Fort Deadlight to talk to what's-her-face that was there. The best things of sailings, there are multiple sea shanties that will be sung when you are on high morale. Aldies, yeah, that's right, Aldies. Oh my god, this is catchy too. Oh god, this is gonna be in my head all day. Where am I at? We're close. There's a storm nearby. There's a thing I can do. Go into my inventory. Okay. See if you can craft some sweet nuts. Buddy, can I craft some sweet nuts? Let me tell you. Hold on. What the hell is fried ugly? After large catch, many Huana fishermen will prepare a anu falai, or fried ugly, for friends and families. Hagfish are battered and deep fried until golden brown and delicious. Man, that sounds delicious. I'm not seeing them. Candy nuts. What all do I need for it? I need some sugar. +2 dexterity, +2 perception. Very positive, but they are bad for one's teeth. It's alright. So yeah, I gotta find some sugar then. I'll probably come across some sugar, I would imagine. Deadlight. It's this way. Save it. Can have an interaction. Oh wait. Audi's mentioned that you should bring candy nuts so you can have an interaction giving her those nuts. Oh, so I should find some sugar. Then, because I want that interact. Uh-oh.
You're the captain who Aldi's invited to parley, ain't you?
Oh, it's just a
I'm
funny
to keep
thing.
an eye out.
He taps a finger beneath his one eye that isn't covered by a black patch.
It's so I can provide you an escort when you arrive.
Alright, lead on.
Right this way, Captain. It's my pleasure to show our honoured guest around. Aye, it sure is.
You must be Captain. Glad you could make it, Loveson.
Captain Liquid. You mean. Battle-hardened captain rubs the underside of her chin as she regards you pleasantly. Her mist-colored eyes, one raven-winged black, the other an icy blue, rove up and down your face.
Like what you see?
The other side.
The mark on this side, it means I'm the second highest rank on the Council of Captains. I'm but one chair below that cockrot Ferrante.
She grins.
Now, I know I offered you a full parley, but I'm a pirate, which means I'm loyal to my crew. But otherwise, I lie whenever it benefits me. You killed my fourth chair, and a damn good friend. A part of me might be impressed, but a part of me wants to flay the skin from your face. Understand?
You don't want to do that. I have a nice face.
If you've an explanation, I'd advise you to give it up real quick.
Despite the violence swirling about her words, she purses her lips, eager for your answer. You can't fault me for defending myself.
Oh, but I can. Being the captain of an entire fleet means you can do whatever the blast you'd like.
Oh, aren't you special? She lifts her chin, black and blue eyes pouring into you, but a hard-edged smile quirks up her lips.
You cut off my right hand. How do you plan to replace it?
They sell prosthetics, don't they? I hear silver makes for a shiny hook. You know what? Yeah. I hear silver makes for a shiny hook.
He said you had a smart mouth. But I suppose this'll quell my anger. For a time.
She weighs a pouch of coins in her hands before tucking it between her breasts. To make room, she removes a hidden knife. It gleams gold in the light before disappearing into a concealed sheath up her sleeve. Should have just refused. Yeah, but I like that line about, here, you can buy yourself a hook now.
Now that we've got that out of the way, I'll admit, I really like you, Captain. You got guts. And not just smattered in your hair. I'd like to make you a deal. Forgive me for dragging you all this way, but I find the proposition of a partnership best works in person.
I never get distracted by breasts when I'm conducting business.
Me and mine within the Principate
Business
would
before
make
pleasure.
powerful allies on your side. But would you give us loyalty in return? That I'd like to know.
Of course, if we formed a partnership.
Suppose we've to give each other a test. Make sure it's a good fit. Say you wanted to entice an alliance of like-minded captains. You might start by aiding one of my best in Nekataka. She smuggles through the undercroft.
You want me to go back to Nekataka?
Goes by the name of Mad Morena, she does. And let me tell you, Dove, she's earned the moniker.
Oh, her. Okay, we talked to her already. She wants me to do that quest. Is that like an evil quest to do, though? Cross your arms over your chest like I'm throwing a fit. I'll consider it.
You've a bright future ahead of you, Watcher. See that you don't tarnish it by flying the wrong pirate's flag. Out with the stale and in with the new, eh? I know you've met with Ferrante, that you may even be working for him. That pribbling cockrot.
With a flick of her fingers, the captain swipes a goblet of God's killer rum off her desk. She takes a long swig before pointing at you.
But that doesn't mean you can't partner with me instead. Don't do anything to let him catch on. Just keep me appraised of certain future events as they shape up.
You want me to spy for you?
How clever you are.
She waggles her brows cheekily over her miscolored eyes.
No need to commit to it now. You just think on it the next time you're toiling for a man who'd happily gut you. After you've done his bidding, given half the chance. When the time's right, we'll set our strategy. For what can I do, you lovesome?
Yeah, I don't trust either of these two. About Ferrante.
Got something for me, Dove?
She leans forward in interest, corner of her lips curving wickedly.
I'm all ears.
It was Ferrante who told me where to find Benwith.
I figured as much. That's how Ferrante gained his political standing. And that's how he keeps it. With underhanded tactics that whittle his opponents into ruin.
You would generally want to behead Aldi's. Too bad that isn't an option. Me get Tagger in the overworld, but it isn't satisfying. So far, I'm okay with her.
Me? I prefer to face my foes head on. Give them the chance to join me before I fucking annihilate them.
I really like her. Captain's miscolored eyes alight with mischief.
And I like to reward those who support me. I'm good to my allies, you see. For your troubles, Dove, let me share with you a little of my treasure.
I have gained 500 coppers. See, I got my money back. And a little extra. That's how you conduct business. Let's discuss this another time.
As you wish, Dove. I am happily and wholeheartedly at your disposal. At least until I get bored.
She winks her icy blue eye. Tell me about the new blood in Principe.
We're the future. And we ain't going nowhere. We're pirates, lovesome. We own this sea. And the sea loves us back in her twisted way. Ferrante pines for a homeland he's never seen. But what does old Valia mean to me or my crew? We're not Valian, and we never will be. Though if you're Valian and you want to join our bloodline, you're more than welcome.
But weren't you founded by refugees from Old Valia?
Generations ago. And I grew like a weed in the deerwood, you see? You say Consueglo me casitas. I say Council of Captains. You say Principe. I say best pirates in the Deadfire.
I've never said
You say Swollenet. I say... well, some things stay the same.
Consuego mes casitas. Let's try saying that 5 times real fast. Get a drink here. She flicks a gold coin and laughs heartily. Tell me about the new blood. Oh, you already did that. So what sort of things do you like to do in your leisure time?
What? Like for hobbies?
Her eyebrows dance up to her hairline and she laughs loudly.
When I'm not out plundering the seas, I'm right here ruling my fleet. Suppose I like a good bit of target practice. And of course, who doesn't like rum and a hot bath?
Yeah, but do you knit?
Don't guess you like the same?
I hate shooting, drinking, and being clean. I could go for a hot bath right now, in fact. Shows her hair back and laughs.
Well, sure. You're welcome to use mine. But perhaps later, when there's less of a crowd around.
Farewell. Lost another crew to the floating hangman. We did. Alright, so I gotta do that Mogren quest. Or Mad, whatever her name is. That I don't remember. Valiant Trading Company has a stockpile, excuse me, at their mill in Queensberth, or I could steal the 6 crates I need from the mill, or ambush the boats at sea as they ship the Adra out of Nekataka. Sounds like stealing the crates would probably be a better idea than just attacking their boats. You don't have to at all. Best idea would be not do the quest at all, but you can also just pay 30k. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot I could pay her money. That's true. That is true. Which is something I'm probably not going to do yet until I have more. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Alright. So we'll wait on that for now. For now, let's go to Dunwich. Because we need to go there for something. Now, I might as well go check that place out, too. Technically, I didn't kill that guy. The piano did. Just saying. Alright. Yeah, exactly. People get too hung up on trying to improve on, like, with a new design of an old product that, you know, there's nothing wrong with the old product, but you try to get too fancy and then just bad things happen. Alright, Dunwich is up this way. Look for a storm. Just remember to have the weapon equipped. I think he has it equipped. Yeah, he's good. Murkwater Lagoon. I see red skulls. Ooh, we're there already. Murkwater Lagoon actually has one of the mega bosses of the game. Ooh, a mega boss. Gonna have to remember to kill them at some point. Definitely not right now. There are 4 mega bosses in PoE 2. Bosses that are really brutally hard even on max level. How do they compare to the Adra Dragon from the first game? By killing the mega bosses, you make the final boss of the game even harder.
That can't be you, I think it
by the
is.
peg leg performers yet? It's awful.
The Green Menace? That I did. Made me want to poke out my eyes.
Much, much harder than the Adra Dragon. Ah. Okay. That might be an optional thing that we'll have to see. We'll at least take a look at him when we get there.
It's you, ain't it?
The pale elf squints at you and puffs on her pipe. Acrid smoke from the bowl wreathes her face. Do I know you?
Of course not, but I know you like I know the curve of my 11th toe.
She winks and shuffles closer. I back up quickly.
The Watcher, captain of a mighty ship, god chaser and fiend slayer. Must be expensive sustaining a reputation like that, eh?
She rubs her fingers together.
I'll keep it quick, see? If your little dinghy has got some chase in it, I've got a list of captains with a black mark to their name whose ships need a quick scuttling.
You're
and
a
I'm
bounty.
in the market for a scuttler.
She sticks a pipe in the side of her mouth and grins, showing a mouth full of yellowed teeth. You're offering me a bounty? Where do I start?
You read me like a book, you do. Then let's talk business, eh?
She cracks her knuckles and grins. Should collect Pelagina because her quest is right here in the port. Okay.
You'll be looking to scuttle Cornu first, one of Rauatai's finest, eh? I don't ask my client what he did or what scale his death balance is. Safer to keep questions in the hold. Hope that don't make you skittish, none. Loyalties being what they is.
She clears her throat into her fist and glances off to the distance.
I'll measure where my loyalties lie, thank you. If our target is worth his salt, he'll send us down to Andra's realm anyway.
Maya folds her arms and nods stiffly.
Mark me. But the bird lass thinks she's true-born principe, she does.
Udita doffs her hat to Maya. I'll take the bounty.
Course you will. Knows a good opportunity when you seize it. Cornu helms a Voyager early muster in the waters north of Nakataka and south of Sayuka.
Before I go, I have some questions.
Have on.
Where do your bounties come from? She takes a bite from her mouth and glances away, sighing through her nose.
Better if you don't ask.
Basically, how they explain why Maya or anyone else don't mind the bounties they shouldn't agree with. Why not?
Because the Deadfire's in a big, ugly power play, it is. And not everyone gets quartered for being in the game. One captain, she's a piece, standing 20 rounds distant from the real players. Another, he's a means to some unknowable end. Who's to say why they both need to die?
She gestures with her pipe in a broad circular motion.
And the type of clients he pays for the red worker scuttling? They don't blow the gaff to the elf.
She points first to you and then back to her before wedging a pipe back between her teeth. Farewell. Alright, let's get on the boat. Let's grab Pelagina. And take you Pelagina, accept.
At your service, Watcher.
Alright, let me see. Let's put you back right there.
Yeah? Good thinking.
Let's go exploring a new area. Somebody might want to do something about that crate. Hardtack. Barkwami. A large Amawa sailor sits on the docks, broad shoulders hunched forward, back bowed. When he shifts, his blue-green skin ripples over his hulking muscles.
Ain't no cruel eye of me. What good's a pirate who can't see? Forget navigating by the stars or shooting a pistol. I can't even swing a sword accurately now. Have a pity and toss me a pyre, will you?
Here you go.
Andra's blessings to you for sharing, sailor.
What's your story?
Is this what my life boils down to? A moment of entertainment for others?
He sighs heavily, big shoulders hunched.
I was a bosun not so long ago, and a damn good one at that. But I took a shot to the face, see?
He waves a massive hand in front of his sightless eyes.
Didn't lose much skin, but the flash burned out my eyesight. I can't make out so much as a blurry shape more than a foot away. Makes me right useless on a crew now, don't it? No one'll have me for work.
Farewell. Poor guy. There must be more to you, though. You have a name. Just up the stairs ahead of me. May you find a grand fortune. Yes, may I find a grand fortune. Oh, neglected pig. Aw. Chauncey. +1 dexterity, and enemy weapon attacks against you will graze rather than hit more often. There's a quest for him. For the pig? Somebody wants him, maybe?
Keep moving. This here is for the crew of the Divine Barge. You ain't a part of it, so you ain't getting inside.
I'm looking for a man named Giacomo.
Have you tried the wild mare in Nekataka? I'm sure they have a boy or two who would let you call him Giacomo for a couple hours.
Excuse me?
Père Complanca, let us pass. I know you have Giacomo. I have known him since I was a girl in the Republics.
So? Why should I care?
He saved my life. He has saved the lives of many of our kind. Whatever you think he has done, you have the wrong idea about him.
Hands on his hips, Seraphine grins. Thoughtful Zodi rubs a knuckle along the edge of her jaw. Grimace twists her face. She rubs the fur on her right ear, looks to the door, then to you. She's telling the truth.
Fine. I probably won't live to regret this.
She turns to the door while sliding a key from her pouch to her waist. With a quick twist, the door is unlocked and open.
After you.
She motions to the door.
I am Tatzatl, captain of the Divine Barge. What has brought you to this place?
Okay. We've come for the Animaster. You've abducted Giacomo.
I see. We ourselves have been debating what to do with Giacomo for quite some time.
Giacomo stands near the back of the room, nervously assessing you. Though he appears unharmed, he flinches at every movement the pirates make. Tatsuro looks to the ceiling, apparently lost in thought. He sighs deeply and closes his eyes for an uncomfortably long time. At last his head drops and he nods resolutely.
We are lost in the woods. You will guide us out by traveling the branching paths of Altleha.
I'm sorry, what?
A forest is defined by its boundaries. There are a finite number of ways through a forest, just as there are a finite number of ways this can end. I know the ways out of the forest, but you will choose the paths to take.
I choose the path of death. Very well. Captain draws forth a small wax tablet and a plain metal stylus. He scratches a few words on the tablet and lightly poses the stylus over the surface before looking into you.
A woman is with a child, and she learns that if the child is born, it will suffer greatly and have a short life. If she ends the child's life before it truly begins, is this good or bad?
Saw enough of that during the Legacy. Answer simple enough. When they ended it early, that was bad beyond measure. And when they didn't, same thing.
I wonder how old the child is. I think it's more complicated than that.
It is. But I am the Pathmaster, and you are the Traveler. I decide what paths exist, and you decide what paths you take.
So basically you're saying you know this kid's screwed. And this is like a guarantee. Good. His only response is to briskly make a small mark on his wax tablet.
You discover a powerful new technology, but you are afraid some people may misuse it for ill purposes.
Continue.
Would you destroy the technology, regulate access to it, or make it available to everyone equally?
Certainly it should not be destroyed. It would only be a matter of time before someone else made the same discovery.
She's got a good point. I think it should be regulated. He nods and makes another small mark on a wax tablet.
An enemy of yours is being persecuted. The grounds of the persecution are, by measure of your own compass, unfair.
Enemies being persecuted, grounds are unfair.
Would you allow the persecution to continue, or would you intervene to stop it?
I would stop it. He looks down at the wax tablet and makes the third small mark. Like, what kind of enemy is he? Like, is he just like a business enemy, or is he like a blood enemy or something like that?
You learn that someone who does great good for many people is unintentionally going to do great harm to many people. The harm may not be great, or it may be so great that it dwarfs the good they have done. You have an opportunity to prevent this by killing them. Do you do so?
I wouldn't kill him. That seems extreme.
Very well.
He makes a fourth mark on a tablet, then takes in both hands, counting the tallies.
Your path has led to this conclusion. We will release Giacomo, but his research must be destroyed. And if he resumes this research, we will hunt him down and kill him and everyone else involved.
On what grounds? You haven't even explained what he's done.
Well, I just saved the dude. I mean, there's something.
Giacomo has discovered a method by which one may detect a godlike fetus in a mother's womb.
Tesato's words hang in the air. The captain waits for Pelagina's reaction, but she remains silent. She clenches her jaw and nods for Tesato to continue.
In the Deadfire archipelago, parents consider a godlike child to be a blessing. From Bereth and Helia to Andra and Galawain, all are beloved, save those of Scan. Appearing mutilated at birth, many godlike of Scan are killed with the tacit approval of the tribe. Those who aren't killed lead miserable lives.
Well, you can't blame the parents, can you? Nothing good can come from a Skane godlike. You're right, this is thought-provoking. Like, if they're mutilated at birth, and those that aren't killed lead miserable lives, I would think that would be merciful. I mean, so long as the parent has a choice, but I mean, well, okay, it's awful in general, it's awful.
I agree, as does my crew, which is why we decided to bring Giacomo here to decide what should be done about him, and his research.
And after all this, you're going to let him go and destroy his research because of how the Watcher answered your stupid riddles?
Yes.
Feel free to elaborate.
Our group was conflicted, so I posed to you a series of hypothetical questions, absent the specific context of our current problem.
That match the current problem. I get what you did.
While you may have deduced some hint of the context during the questioning,
I did actually.
It was a less biased method of reasoning than we were engaged in. After all, for us, this is a matter of life and death.
I have to say, that's a poor way to make a life or death decision.
There may be superior ways to debate this subject, but it is the best approach I could conceive. Now, if you will excuse us, you may take Mestre Giacomo. We will destroy the research, and heed my caution carefully. Should you resume this study, we will find you, kill you, and kill all who are assisting you.
Pelagine looks to you, angry but conflicted. I'm not attacking him, Pelagina. And if I say number 2, if Giacomo made this discovery, it's only a matter of time before someone else does. Giacomo, yeah.
In all likelihood,
I was curious what you were saying.
Yes. But who knows how long that will be? How much these societies may change until then.
Fine, we'll take what we can get. Farewell. Pelagine is going to be...
We were unable to save Giacomo's research. But thank you for helping me save the man himself.
Oh, okay. I thought she was going to be like mad at me.
Pelagina, is that you, my girl?
The old man's face widens into a broad smile as he holds out his arms and awkwardly gambols towards Pelagina. Becomes even more interesting when you consider that outside of the Deadfire it is varied. A child that is discovered to be a godlike in a deerwood, for example, is not too unlikely to be killed because they think it is cursed or sickly. In an Valiant Republic, if a female godlike not seen as a person, as he can't get pregnant. Yeah, I think I handled that fairly well. Like, I get what he was saying about the ones of Skane are born mutilated and they don't have good lives, but I don't know, just like setting them up for death right off the bat seems like it's a little extreme. Pelagina kneels down at Giacollo's approach and places her head against his chest, her arms around his thin frame. She closes her eyes and smiles as he holds her.
I thought those pirates would have been the end of me.
Not if I could do something about it. I owe you too much to let something happen to you over some nonsense.
A shadow of concern falls over the old man's face. His forehead grows thick with worried wrinkles and he gently pulls Pelagina to her feet. This concept of if you knew your child would be born with some sort of handicap, what you go through with the birth, yeah.
My girl, what that satyr said is not nonsense. He had good reason to be afraid.
He looks to you for confirmation. Like, and that's a hell of a question to be put in. You're right. I like this quest. It's original. And even this guy agrees. There is a danger, yes. Animancers just need to be responsible.
Sadly, many are not. And as a group, we have no ability to monitor and reprimand those who act irresponsibly.
And you should not be expected to. Who would even be capable of doing such a thing?
In the interest of safety, rulers should limit the use of animancers. Animancers should organize themselves to protect their colleagues. Animancers should organize themselves to prevent their colleagues from getting out of hand.
How would that work? Would animancers submit to the authority of other animancers?
Have an animancer council. The AC.
Perhaps. Old age has a few benefits, my girl. One is a measure of respect from your younger colleagues. If we attempted to guide them with a gentle hand, perhaps.
Exactly, like I said, AC. Giacollo strokes his chin and nods. Pelagina considers both your words and Giacollo's in turn. She nods her head and turns her attention away. You soon realize that she is lost in thought. The moment passes quickly enough.
Well, it appears we are done here. We should see you back to Neketaka, Mestre Giacollo.
Before I go, I want you to have this, Aimoranet. An amulet of my own invention. It resonates with the godlike souls. Even severed, there is enough magic in your chime to activate its power.
He holds up a beautiful amulet on a slender chain. An oblong Adra stone gleams in its center. As he lowers it into Pelagina's hand, he cups his other hand around hers and gently squeezes. I've gained the Heart Chime amulet. Pelagina smiles and nods to him before letting him go. There's sadness in her eyes, but she regains her composure quickly.
I appreciate all you have done. Both of you.
He smiles, nods, and shovels off towards the docks. So do I actually have to take him to Neketaka?
I'm not so sure I believe you. What am I thinking right now? No, wait. Now.
It don't work that way, lass. I pick up on feelings. See fragments of memories sometimes. Impressions. And mostly when folks are upset or a bit of nerve, unless I'm trying to intrude. And I generally try not to intrude.
You intruded on me the moment we met.
That were an accident. If anything, you be the one that were intruding on me.
Oh, well, you could take a gander if you wanted. I mean, not all the time. Just this once.
As you wish, lass.
Seraphim looks up to Zodi with an uncommonly serious impression. His eyes seem to drill into her, then suddenly he jerks his head away and blinks like his eyes are burning.
So which is it? Light or dark? What do you see?
Neither, lass. Bounced off you like a bullet off an ironclad.
Sodi shrugs and walks away. Seraphim watches, hand rubbing the back of his head. No, you don't. Okay, cool. Anything I should know about?
Mayhaps. Let me be ruminating on it for a tick, Cap.
He sighs and turns away. Uh-oh, Sodi, what you got wrong with you? Save it. Can't go back in there. Alright. Hagfish and rum. A trim man in practical, well-crafted leathers watches you from the corner of his eyes. When he catches you looking his way, his hand drifts casually to the dagger at his hip and lingers for a moment. You're gonna need a bigger sword, buddy. Then he smiles, the corners of his hazel eyes crinkling with genuine warmth, and waves you over.
A cozy traveler. Care to hear a tale?
He rubs softly at the stubble along his jaw.
Well...
Crowdfunder. Okay. Tell me about yourself.
I was born to a family of merchants on the Pearl Coast. I was a restless boy, and my feet took me to the Valen Republics when I came of age.
As Carlos speaks, his previously strong Valian accent begins to fall away, and his voice takes on a characteristic twang of the Deerwood.
I learned of the power of geography and language at my father's knee, and those skills proved useful in the Republics. I had many successful years as a merchant, and then I made a mistake.
Go on. He gives you a small smile and an easy shrug of his shoulders.
I joined up with a company based in Girara that traded in beautiful weavings, but they were ill-gotten gains, forcibly produced by a weaver the company kidnapped named Bonicetta. I didn't learn the truth until it was too late. And when our crime was uncovered, I was exiled from the Republics.
That's a shame.
Indeed. But I should have asked better questions of my employers. And now I'm here, kicking my heels in the Deadfire, where no one knows my name and with few prospects before me. I would like to make amends to Bonicetta personally, but it seems a distant possibility.
Why do you speak like a...
well.
Oh.
I learned my lesson. I won't be played for a fool again.
Why do you speak like a Valian?
It is good to blend in. All the better to observe the business of those around you. Yes?
You don't have anything
I
else
was born
in
to a family of... I joined up with a company. Indeed. I would like to make amends to Bonicetta personally.
Can you teach me what you learned in the Valian
You
Republics?
listen to my tale. I suppose I can do that for you for 3,000 copper.
Enhanced sleight of hand and diplomacy. Well, I got money now, so...
Well done.
Lost 3,000 copper. He shows you a trick for lifting a man's coin purse from his belt. Between demonstrations, he also gives you tips for negotiating with even the most hard-headed of merchants. You thank him and turn away. Just as you're about to leave, he tosses the coin purse to you with a laugh.
You nearly forgot something.
The coin purse he tossed you is your own. Touché. Impressive. I'll give you that one. You find a woman of early middle years dressed fine if dirty armor. Wait. You find a woman of early middle years dressed fine if dirty armor adorned with bright purple piping. A pair of long scars bisect her brow and jaw. Though she stands at ease, a nervous energy thrums through her.
Fair day, traveler.
She grins broadly, a joyful twinkle lighting her eyes.
Anything I can do for you, just say the word.
Tell me about yourself.
Lady adventurer at your humble service. I was born in a deer and raised in the field, and there's nary a crevice of this archipelago I haven't seen.
The field?
Aye, the living lands most off, but the Deadfire as well of late. And my goodness, if you think the Deadfire's wild, I must say, it's no more thrilling than a lady of luxury's afternoon luncheon, in comparison to the glorious madness of the living lands. Being a cipher's come in quite handy, I'll tell you that.
Do you often get into trouble then?
Oh, dear me, yes. Can't seem to avoid it. Not a lick of it's my fault, of course. It's the university. Always sending me to the most dangerous corners of Eora, the skimps. If I didn't know better, I might say they were trying to kill me. There's not other way to rid themselves of a tenured professor, after all.
She laughs. Get any good stories out of it, at least?
Oh, aye. Some you wouldn't right believe. Like the time I lost part of my ear here, see?
She pulls back her hair and shows you her mangled ear. It looks like something's had a good chew on it.
Lost an entire research team along with the ear. Rather a long day, that was. My colleagues have implied I might be cursed, but I can't say I much agree. It's just the nature of the work, you understand. I mean, goodness, if you want a lady to find you the rarest plants, you gotta send her to the most remote places. On my last expedition, my colleague Inez got herself lost looking for what was essentially a big prickly weed. No medicinal use at all. I found her, though, mostly intact even. A blessing from the living lands, I call it. But I do go on, don't I?
She laughs gaily, a hand splayed across her chest. Could you teach me what you learned in your time exploring living lands?
With pleasure. Teaching is my specialty, after all. I'm gonna pack your brain with so much knowledge, you're gonna have a headache for a week. All I need from you is 3,000 copper.
Enhanced stealth and metaphysics. What the hell?
Excellent. Let's get down to business, shall we?
She starts first with the practical training, how to move silently through bush, when and how best to hide, how to step so as to muffle the sounds of your feet. Satisfied, she moves on to a high-level explanation of various theories of knowledge. She seems to have quite a passion for epistemology, and goes on for an excruciatingly long time before at least sending you on your way. I've learned Kay's training. Let's get down to business. Save after that. It looks like you better jump in there, buddy, and get all this stuff. Watch your words or I'll lay you open. Yes, please attack me. You're dressed in, like, normal clothes, and I am in a perfect position to just shove you in the water right now. Salt and fish.
Will do.
Rotten hagfish. Never know when that might come in handy. Ruby. Oh, you're just a town person. I hate them old blood pricks. Alright, it's a short little area. Alright, so that's Lifter's Refuge. We got the King's Coffin, Balefire Beacon, and the Radiant Court. Let's go to the coffin. Isn't nearly as big as Nekataka. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Which is good. That means I can maybe get this whole place explored before I stop for today. Maybe. Someone special at the coffin. Manaha!
Is that you? What's it been? 5 years? Life's been good. I keep on my feet and never stay in one place too long.
Surprised she doesn't have, like, a dialogue.
Say what you
like
want
conversation.
about pirates, but these Principi know how to have a good time. Sure, my money's on Rauatai, but I've avoided the Brass Citadel. Not interested in settling in, you know? I'll probably stay a little longer. There's plenty of work for a mercenary after all. Seeing you means something big on the horizon, and time for me to move on.
Oh, you don't want to jump in.
Thanks to you, I'm sleeping well. I hope you are too. Take care. Life's been good. I keep on my feet and never stay in one place too long.
Kill him, wait an hour, then pull any gold teeth. Easy as pie.
You're an idiot. Wait a minute, wait an hour. Alive, dead, it makes no difference at all.
I've pulled plenty of gold teeth. I know the right way of it.
Maybe I'll pull your teeth just to prove you wrong.
Holy sh...
What do you know? It really does make no difference. You, act.
Pirate debates are about as sophisticated as I expected.
I'm just gonna take this guy's clothes in the middle of the bar that just died. Don't mind me. It's something that I do sometimes. You can hire an expert surgeon in this tavern. The wall is notched and scarred from countless knife throws that completely missed the target. You find a lanky blonde elf flipping through a book of Adirian poetry about artist Skilba. His armor is well worn and well kept and bears on his breast the image of a double-headed eagle holding a sword and crown. Looking more closely, you notice that with his free hand he's picking a padlock.
Hello. May I help you?
He catches you looking and gives you a shy smile.
Need anything?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm not sure what there is to tell. I'm a man of adventure, mostly.
Have you any that would make a good story?
A few. More than I could share in a night, to be sure. There is one that's close to my heart. It led me to my love.
Go on. He nods, pleased.
I was on an expedition into the backwoods of Read Seras when I came across an abandoned town. To my great surprise, I found a tremendous hoard of books in the town priest's cottage.
What's surprising about that?
The Read Serans are conservative folk, more so even than the Adirans. They don't have much use for reading that doesn't come from one of the holy texts of the Church of Aethys. And what a selection of books it was. Every subject represented, even some questionable ones. I couldn't help but help myself to them. I took as many as I could carry, and I can carry quite a bit.
Same.
Read them all cover to cover and learned a lot too. I tired soon of wandering, so I settled in a small town in the Deerwood and became a tutor for a noble family. Fell in love with the governess, naturally, and I stayed. For a while.
Then what?
Well...
He rose to the back of his neck and looks away a moment.
I felt a stirring in my bones one day. I can't explain it. I just woke up, caught sight of the horizon, and had to go. I left my lady wife right there in our marital bed.
He sighs deeply. A look of longing flits across his face, but he stifles it with a quick frown.
I don't know what's waiting for me out here in the Deadfire. But I have hope this will be my biggest adventure yet.
Can you teach me what you've learned in your travels?
Well, you listened to my long tale. I suppose you are owed a trick or two. For the low price of 3,000 copper.
I'll throw another 3,000 now just to enhance mechanics.
Much obliged.
He digs through his pack and pulls out several locks he's found in his travels. He proceeds to put you through your paces, timing how quickly you complete each lock, then demanding that you do it again and faster still. Satisfied you become a deft hand, he shows you how to build a small explosive with black powder, parchment, and twine. Once you've demonstrated you can create the explosive without getting yourself or anyone else blown up, he wishes you good luck and tells you to get going. See what kind of crew we can get. Okay.
If you're enjoying my performance, tips are welcome but not required. Thank you, loyal patron.
Voice monotone, the wizard examines her nails as she speaks. Hand on her hip, she cocks her head as she waits for you to speak. Doesn't look like you're enjoying yourself.
I work for a handful of pyres per day. How could I find enjoyment in that?
How'd you end up among these pirates?
I was playing dice and gambled on a sure thing. It turned out not to be such a sure thing, and now Harker owns my arse until I can pay off the debt.
She grunts.
Of course, I started off owing him 250, and even though I've paid that twice, now I'm in the hole for 700. The interest rate, this uniform, my food and drinks, they all got added onto my tab at the end of the day.
Here's a tip.
Oh, thank you, patron. I'll be debt-free in no time.
Despite her words, she doesn't actually sound appreciative. In fact, she rolls her eyes as she tucks the coin into her pocket. Bye. Man, I gotta get curtains in this room. I got a hell of a glare coming on the monitor right now from the sun. Though slightly frayed around the edges, the sailcloth has been carefully cleaned and maintained. Excuse me. At the bar, you find a tall man, pardon me, with salt gray hair and strikingly bright blue eyes. His face sports a handful of long scars that continue down his neck and disappear beneath the collar of his shirt. He looks up from wiping down the counter when you approach and gives you a broad, disarming smile.
Haven't seen you around before. Welcome to the King's Coffin.
His smile is wide enough to show his bright white teeth, but his light eyes remain cold and flinty.
What can I do for you?
Your tavern looks a lot like an old ship.
Figured that out all on your own, did you?
He winks.
You're right, though. Inherited an old dhow from my da when he passed. Right piece of shit it was, too. Realised I was bound to make more coin turning her into a tavern than letting her rot in her berth.
I wanted to buy something.
What do you want?
Know of any sailors looking for work?
So long as you don't mind pirates, sure.
Yeah, what do we got? Ooh, we got a good pardon. We got a good helmsman. And a cannoneer. Big And he's an expert surgeon. Is this the surgeon we're talking about? Let's get you. Let's get you. Let's get you. Lelendrith is the guy that shot the other guy in the tavern. Oh. I'll just get all of you. Hey, you look exactly like, Lilith from my last game, that, hireling I had. Or damn close to him. Yeah. She was the hireling I had very early on before I had enough party members that I didn't need her anymore. She was like a rogue, I think. Let's see what I got here. Alright, you are a surgeon. So, Eld, you're coming out. You're getting switched for the Vithrak. Oh, okay, I gotta go back to the shipyard. Wait. So I have to do this in Nekataka then. Quest in the tavern if you go to the stairs to the north. Cabin boy.
What do we have here?
A young man dressed in skin-tight leathers gives you a quick glance over. He must like what he sees because he smiles wide, his lips just parted.
How can I ease your troubles, friend?
What do you do here?
I surprise and delight the clientele.
He winks.
My speciality's oils. Full-body rub-downs, right? Fit to leave you limber, clear-headed, and free of the stresses of hard living. I got other skills, of course, should you be looking. And all for a measly 200 pounds.
Farewell. What do you have going on?
My. Aren't you a handsome one?
An older woman looks you up and down and smiles, revealing several gold teeth. You better stay away from that other dude who was here.
Did you need help with something, my dear?
What do you do here?
Isn't it obvious? I entertain, of course.
She does a little shimmy and breaks off with a laugh.
It'll cost you 50 pyres, naturally. And don't let the wrinkles fool you. I'm still young at heart, and I've got more experience than most.
Chuckles. Bye. Excuse me.
Oh, God have mercy on me.
Booth is cozy and quiet, perfect for discreet dealings. Hunched on his hands and knees, quivering and drenched in sweat, the pirate lets out a pain-filled groan.
Lost my God's damn soul in stupidity. Andre, save me now.
What's wrong with you?
My ship was attacked and boarded by pirate hunters. Didn't know if we'd be able to get away, so I swallowed down my most valuable possession. Gutty's black tear. Gemstone, about the size of my fist.
Ooh. Yeah, you have fun with that, buddy.
Of course now, it ain't coming out of either end. Been trying all manner of foul concoctions to no effect on account of my stomach being too strong. Years of sailing the storm-wracked seas will do that to you.
How do you swallow something the size of your fist? You'd be amazed what people can do with things that are the size of their fists. I'll just stop now.
Started feeling an intense pain 2 days ago. I think I might be dying. I can't even crawl no more.
I've got a Vithrak surgeon. If you'd like to, leave yourself to his dealings. If I help you get it out, I want the gem. I don't want the damn gem after it's been in God knows what parts of his body at this point. What can I do to help?
Make me puke. Whatever you gotta do, just make it happen before this cursed gem kills me. Give me something strong enough to upset even my iron gut. Rosanella's got a stand in the Radiant Court. She's been supplying me with some experimental concoctions, tweaking them after. Tell her the last one actually came close to working.
A pair of Durance old underwear might make you puke. Probably would. Alright, so we gotta speak to Rosanella. And we got everything in here. Yeah, those are places that are for stealing. I don't want to steal. Alright, so that was King's Coffin. Let's hit the Radiant Court. Nor I. Hey. Let's take some water.
You half-masted sot. She's got to be 90 years old.
What's your story?
Fresh fruit, vegetables, dried goods for long voyages. I got it all right here. What can I stock you up with today?
Show me what you have for sale. Oh, I got a discount on items. I'll have to check my...
Did you hear? The gilded kestrel was lost at sea.
From Goldfinch Fleet? Impossible with her wealth.
Weren't no one to bribe. The floating hangman gone. Now they're bones.
That was weird. The audio skipped there for a second. Buy all the ingredients.
A repeat customer. I like your type.
Generally a good
What can I
idea.
stock you?
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't hurt. It's not like they're expensive. Oh, here's this person we were looking for.
There goes the captain. I think that's the captain who blew old Benny to bit.
I heard he was playing the harpsichord when he went looks clean.
You get sword after. Stray cat. Epsilon, what's your deal? While Epsilon is following you around, your recovery penalty from armor mirrors reduce. Your party moves more quickly in combat.
Looking for work?
Yeah, but little
I've got
jaws.
a coin and a few scores to settle.
Yeah, I'll get with you in a minute.
So you're the captain the old pork's been talking about. Aye, you do look like a fearsome sort. Welcome to Dunwich.
There's someone put a hat on a statue to the left of the bar. Yeah, I was looking at that.
What you having? I'll pour you a double.
What do you know about the floating hangman? Her eyes go wide and she fumbles a bottle of spirit, spilling rum all over the counter.
No one survives the floating hangman, or so they say. It's the ship of the dead. You spy it on the horizon, you flee as fast as you can.
Petro sent me to you.
Ah, I guess the last concoction I made for him didn't do the trick then. Poor bastard.
Telling you he needs surgery.
There's one last tincture recipe I know that won't kill him, probably. It's called Andra's Bile, but I don't have all the ingredients in stock.
Andra's Bile, that sounds attractive.
You'll need a rotten hagfish, an unripened palm stone, and a vial of fire kelp extract. Have him mix it all with a half tankard of grog, and well, hope for the best.
Why do I need to get a rotten hagfish and not regular hagfish?
The goal is to make him vomit, remember? A rotting hagfish produces a special oil once it reaches a certain level of decay.
I, in fact, have a rotting hagfish. Why didn't you try Andra's Bile earlier?
I did tell you the list of ingredients, eh? He'll have stuff dribbling out of both ends for a week. Maybe 2 if he's really unlucky.
Where can I find the ingredients?
Check the barrels around Lifter's Refuse for the rotten hagfish. You might be able to find unripened palmstone for sale somewhere in Radiant Court.
She pours a drink, but rather than passing it to her patron, she downs it herself. I think I need the unripened palmstone.
Harker in the King's Coffin usually keeps some fire kelp extract on hand for special purposes. Be careful when dealing with that one.
Oh, I bought the palmstone. Okay, I must need the fire kelp. It must... Extract, I guess, is different. Show me what you've got. Now, would you typically buy all the food too, or just ingredients? Because we find food pretty much everywhere, right? Since we gotta keep the crew fed. Isn't required in the same way. I'll just skip on it for now. Stop and spending money. What's your deal?
You carry yourself like a person well acquainted with violence.
Thanks for noticing.
Care to put your skills to use for a good cause? And some coin?
She dances a coin across her knuckles with a bright glint in her eyes. Tell me about the cause you mentioned.
It's simple enough. The firebrand commanded by Captain Henqua once plagued the Deadfire. The skill and brutality of Henqua's crew was the stuff of legends.
Desiree flicks the coin she's holding and snatches it from the air with a grin. Up close is clearly a swillnet.
Legendary nightmares, more like. After how they did the crew with a virtuous reward. Even that bastard Benwith wanted nothing to do with them.
But pirate legends don't live long. Some months ago, an alliance of Neketaka pirate hunters managed to corner the firebrand and sink her off the coast of Tikawara. They confirmed Captain Henqua's death, but her senior crew members escaped unscathed. And now it seems like bringing the firebrand's crew to justice doesn't matter to anyone but me.
Even in low light, you can see a vein throbbing in her temple. Her voice drops to a low growl.
So I want you to kill them. And I'll pay you out of my own pocket if you do.
If you find someone that if you find somewhere that will sell any food or drink, it gives +1 morale with infinite stock. Like if you go to Nikotaka, they usually have ale or lager that will never run out. So you could buy like 3 stacks of 500 lager ale and put those 1500 drinks on your ship and not need to buy drinks for the rest of the game. Same with food. Ah, gotcha. It sounds like you got a grudge against the Firebrand's crew.
It's nothing personal. The crew earned their reputation through murder and thievery, and it would make me sick to see them regain an ounce of their power.
She tries for a nonchalant shrug, but it comes off looking like she's got a sore shoulder instead. I'll hunt down those pirates. Who am I looking for?
The Firebrand had a mascot, a useless little bastard, who's taken to calling himself Lord Admiral Imp. He's not terribly dangerous on his own, but he's keen to make a nuisance of himself wherever he goes.
She rubs the bridge of her nose and sighs. Seraphine frowns, brow knitting.
Last I heard, Lord Admiral Imp was making himself comfortable in Queen's Berth. You'll find him there with a few Zarops and constructs, the little buggers convinced to follow him. Bless their simple hearts.
Who's next on your list?
You'll be taking down Lady Ipiro, Captain Henqua's former first mate and a rumored lover. She's a cipher, and a dangerous one at that. Ipiro maintains an estate in Serpent's Crown in Neketaka. But I wouldn't recommend you rush in muzzles blasting and swords held high. She keeps a number of bodyguards on her payroll.
She winks, all smiles. Got it.
You'll be going after Katren, the Firebrand's resident wizard. Rumor has it, she was once an apprentice to Arkemir before turning pirate. Last I heard, Katren and her sundry little minions could be found lazing about the sacred stair here in Neketaka at night. No idea where she disappears off to during the day.
Sound like she said here in Neketaka. Who's the last target?
I have a challenge for you, my friend. And his name is Torkar, leader of the Firebrand's boarding parties. He's an ogre, with a reputation for cleverness and cruelty both. I've even heard tell it was Torkar who was behind the Firebrand's most successful tactics, not Henqua. Torkar was last seen at Lifte's refuge here in Dunwich, dead set on joining a crew, or assembling his own. I trust you won't let that happen.
Farewell.
Happy hunting.
She nods and gives you a showy wink. Oh, the ward... Okay, I remember that place. Yeah. I walked in and I saw the war dogs, and then I ended up leaving before I actually did anything in there. I remember that now. This place is a little bit bigger. Not that much, but... Let's go up here and check this out.
Andra's gills! There's no hope.
You're right. We should all just give up and... just stop. The artistic quality of the stage's backdrop is best described as enthusiastic.
That was a disaster of epic proportions if ever I directed one.
Arms flailing wildly before her, the stage performer shoots the other actors from the set.
A typhoon couldn't have cleared out our audience faster.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? I'll tell you what, everything. My troop's coming apart at the seams. We're short on cash, we're low on people, and we've run plumb dry on enthusiasm.
She ticks the points on her
We haven't
fingers.
drawn a decent crowd in more than a fortnight. And it ain't like pirates are hard to please. That's how you know the show really stinks. But I think I know what the problem is. We've got a lack of flair. If only I could hire more talented performers, I just know my play would take off.
What's your play about?
Only the biggest thing to hit the Deadfire since the Valian Trading Company started hunting us like sea hounds. I'm talking about Aethus storming through the archipelago and capsizing nearly a whole fleet of our ships.
What would you need to improve the play?
A better Aethus, for one. I'm the tallest one in our troop. I'm still not very convincing, even when I bother to dye my skin blue.
So do you like stomp around and crush little buildings?
Also, our special stage effects aren't all that special anymore. We had someone for that role, but she got herself into debt and has a new job at the King's Coffin.
I'll help you.
Really? Well, that's great. Then we could
Abruptly, her eyes narrow, her dark brows furrowing with heavy suspicion.
Wait a tick. Why would you help me? What do you get out of this?
I'd really like to see how play turns out.
With you helping me acquire the right talent, I'd wager it's going to be phenomenal. I'm in desperate need of 2 more performers. A wizard for one, plus any oaf big enough to pose as Aethys. I happen to know a wizard of the finest skill set who already performs here in Dunwich, Taerna at the King's Coffin. But unfortunately, I got no idea of where we might find a suitable Aethys.
We should get that ogre that I'm supposed to kill to play Aethys, and then I can kill him.
Get me the right people for the parts, and I promise you'll be pleased with your investment. I'll turn us a profit or die trying.
And thing.
My old captain was a drinker.
I'll take this freaking pile of bones from this crate, thank you very much.
Born to the day he died. Always he was rail thin. He wound up with a wooden leg, 26 ships and a bilious fever. Sunrise is a woe, doves. The coming horizon is a sea-sized ruin.
Pirate Cuss glanced to the side with a bout of Johnny music rackets up. She bobs her head to the beat.
They sail on a gilded bridge.
Let's go to Treasure Trove. Who do we know is big and could be painted green and need a job? That blind dude. Treasure Trove guard. This is like a store, maybe? You must be the casita everyone speaks of. Oil paintings, perfect for captains with drab cabins.
Welcome to the treasure trove, sailor.
A strapping godlike blinks between the swollen, crusty tumors lining her eyes. Her lips crack, weeping a sappy substance as she speaks.
Anything in my trove catches your eye, you let me know. All right.
Show me what you have for sale. Oh, you've got some weaponry. Sun and Moon. Quality legendary. Squid's Grasp Rapier. Grants death denied. Where is immune to constitution afflictions while they carry 1 or more injuries. Mirror back. 10% chance to reflect against spells. I wonder if that's all spells, like friendly spells as well. Void Word. +2 corrode armor damage rating, -25 raw damage taken. +1 intellect. Ring of deflection, cloak of protection. 13 armor. Grants conjure greater blight. Once per rest. +10 all defenses against electricity, fire, frost, water, acid. That's not bad. Have to sleep on some of that. They say the gentleman of leisure lost his ship hunter. Despite appearances, these stacks of luminous Audra contain only brightly colored sand. Skilled armor's ceremonial nature is no use in a real battle. I'm just looking. I didn't talk to you, did I? First thing you notice about this man is the nature of his attire. Loud in clashing reds and purples, bright as a peacock. On second glance, you see that he's tall and lanky, boyishly handsome in an unkempt way, with a trimmed beard and a friendly smile. He hums a little tune to himself as he watches passers-by.
My good sir, hello.
It gives you a frightfully cheery wave and beckons you closer. You're a Kickstarter, I bet.
Whatever might I do for you?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm certain there's no need to tell you, observant as you no doubt are, that I am an actor.
Says the last bit with a flourish and takes an extravagant bow.
Stage, tavern, street corner. They are as much my home as where I lay my head at night. So, I travel Aora, looking for opportunities to share my gifts with the grateful masses, wherever that may lead me.
Make a lot of money doing that.
Oh, goodness, yes, loads of it. I've been known to joke that I'm less a man than I am a walking bank for all the coin that I carry.
Interesting. And where do you carry it at exactly?
The common folk do so love an actor. We bring mystery and excitement to their otherwise dreary lives. Yes, you could say we're doing the God's work.
Your generosity is inspiring.
I'm truly gratified that you think so. It's quite difficult, you know, living as I do. On occasion, foolish folk will take my act for reality. I've thrice been run out of a town for impersonating a foreign dignitary. Damn fools don't understand the blistering wit of my satire, I tell you.
Those fools.
I had to learn to protect myself as a result. Though, I must admit, what martial skills I've got aren't of use for much more than fighting off wolves or throttling a thief with designs on my satchel.
Your satchel, so that's where you keep your coin at.
Thank the gods, I hardly ever need to use them. I could talk myself out of nearly anything, you know.
You sure can talk, I'll give you that.
Well, thank you. I must say it's gratifying to be recognized for one's talents. All things being equal, I'd much rather recite a sonnet than swing an axe. But a man's got to make his way in the world any way he can.
Can you teach me what you've learned in your travels as a performer?
I would be honored. But a man needs to make a living, you know. So, for my services, how about 3,000 copper?
Here you are.
Fantastic. Let's get to it then.
His training is idiosyncratic. He starts by describing a character he'd like you to play. A street tough, an embittered sailor, a noble in the throes of a tantrum. Then he recites lines to you, asking you to recite them back in the attitude of your character. He then shows you how to use those characters to trick people into giving you what you want. When you show him you've got it, he gives you a wise smile and bids you farewell. Coach training. Stuff. Stuff. Veggies. Don't have room for them. Deadeye, some chew, liver, cradle. Let's take all that. Yes, he exit out. Shelf contains current navigational charts and bestiaries about the various sea monsters a captain could encounter.
Welcome to my emporium. Whatever you need, I sell.
You somehow made that all one sentence.
What would you like to buy today?
You own all these stalls?
I do now. I started out with only one stall and eventually branched out, buying out my competitors one by one.
Show me what you have for sale. Oh, more cool stuff. More expensive stuff. Pale hide. That doesn't look too bad. Eager blade. Nest stock. Amra. I almost feel I should buy that because I'm pretty damn sure, I might be remembering this wrong, but my character's kind of based off Conan a little bit. In one of the Conan books, he was called Amra, or was it Ambra? It was something like that. He's called that for a while. The wielder's might is 25 or above. Critical hits with his weapon costs 25% of base damage in an area around the wielder. This pretty much looks like it's made for a barbarian. stray dog. Let's grab him. Hemp. Hemp is following you around. You receive a bonus to Constitution. Your party receives a bonus to Fortitude. Let's loot this. Let's take some fishies. The labels on the bottles are to believe to be believed. These concoctions cure everything from scurvy to death itself. Take some nuts. Salko. Alright, I think I'm through here. So before we start wrapping quests up, the only other place I gotta go to is the Balefire Beacon, which will stop here real quick. I might be stopping in a second, though, because I'm going to be heading to the store in a bit, I think. Let me see what's going on in here, though, real quick. Yeah, I'm going to be stopping.